Y'all planning for this?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Reading Time with Jarvis, where I share with you some of my favorite books that I've read over the last, almost 20 years of my career, hundreds of books. And I want to share with you not just books that I enjoy, but books that have prompted me to take action in my practice and that I hope will prompt you to take action in your practice. Today's book is Deep Work by author Cal Newport. Now, as you may recall, Cal Newport wrote one of my favorite books of all time, So Good They Can't Ignore You. This book, Deep Work, is one of his earlier books, and it looks at how our minds react during short periods of time and longer period of times, specifically how devastating things like interruptions, which could be pop-ups, alerts, dings, the urge to check your email, the urge to read the Wall Street Journal, whatever that is, how damaging these are to your productivity. Now, Micah and I talk about productivity all the time, and we like to give the example of Henry Ford, who, in creating the assembly line, dramatically reduced the amount of hours required to build an automobile. And it's easy to push back on that and say, well, I'm not making an automobile. I am doing elaborate, complex financial planning. But Cal goes through and looks and says that interruptions can take as much as 3 hours of your focus time away from you. So it's tempting to say, oh, that pop-up, I only looked at it for a second, for a millisecond, a nanosecond. But the truth is that interruption devastates your focus and, again, causes as much as 3 hours of subpar performance. So that's takeaway number one, is that having dedicated, uninterrupted focus time is essential. Every time you hear any kind of alert or distraction, just tell yourself that cost me 3 hours of focus time. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to eliminate all of those. For example, I haven't thrown my phone into a bush, but there are definitely times, a lot of times, where I put it on Do Not Disturb. And of course, I have all alerts and pop-ups and things like that turned off because, as mentioned, it takes a lot of time and it's easy, especially when I'm doing hard work or deep work, as Cal Newport calls it. It's very easy to see an email pop up and say, oh, I better chase that down. So takeaway number one is you have to have dedicated, uninterrupted focus time. Takeaway number two is that social media is absolutely devastating to your productivity. Cal does not talk about the happiness impact, but there's more and more research coming out saying that social media and screen time causes us to have dopamine addictions, leads to depression and other unfortunate things. So I'm not so far into the camp to say that social media is some sort of great evil, but be very honest with yourself. Are you in control of your social media time, or is your social media time in control of you? Takeaway number three, our brains are drawn to checking boxes, right? So if we have 10 tasks in front of us and one task is critical, but it's going to take some time, and another task is not critical, but it's easy to chalk off, we're going to be drawn to that easy one. For example, let me check my emails. It's an easy victory. Let me check my social media feed. Easy victory. Let me read the latest on The Perfect RA. Easy victory. We need to be aware of that cognitive weakness and to start our days, our weeks, our months on the most important task, not the easiest to check off. I believe it was Brian Tracy. He called that eating the frog. Just jump right into the hardest thing you need to do and go from there. Don't be tempted to check off the easy things first. So how do I apply this book in my practice, in my life? Couple of things. One, Mondays are typically my learning day. So anything that I want to learn, kitsis.com, books I want to read, CE classes I want to take, etc., I do those on Mondays. Any learning stuff that comes up during the week, I think to myself, great, let me put that on my list for Mondays. Fridays are my personal day. I do zero work on Fridays. That's my time to go mountain biking, to go dirt biking, to travel, to do whatever I want. Those are always my recharge days. Another thing that I've implemented from Cal's book in my practice, many of us are guilty of interrupting our team members or allowing our team members to interrupt us. I instead have a weekly check-in meeting with each team member, and we just have a project list in Asana where all the things live that we need to talk about. So instead of me sending a quick message to Colleen or vice versa, it goes into that project list and we tackle it all at once. And of course, most important takeaway, get rid of the pop-ups, get rid of the alerts. The only exception I have to that are calls or text messages from friends or close family members, but even that gets put on Do Not Disturb on a regular basis. So, question to ask yourself from this book. As you're listening to this, you're thinking about this book. The question I would suggest that you ask yourself is, what is the one thing I can do to improve my focus? What's one distraction? What's one alert, pop-up, whatever in my life that I can remove and I can eliminate that will improve my focus, thereby giving me more time and mental energy to deliver massive value to my clients, to my friends, to my family, etc. So in the immortal words of Nacho Libre, go away, read some books.
Hold on before we go. Something that you need to know. This isn't tax, legal, or investment advice. That isn't our intent. Information designed to change lives. Financial planning can make you thrive. Start today, don't think twice. Be a better husband, father, mother, and wife. The perfect